Hello and welcome back to the Gavel Gab podcast. Today we have a special episode. It's going to be the lawyer and paralegal Reddit review. I'm joined again today by returning guest and co-host / co-producer Andrea, and we are going to read you some horror stories from Reddit, from people's divorces, and we're going to get each other's genuine feedback and reaction. So we have not read one another's. So I'm going to just dive in with my first one. It's short and sweet, okay? This is someone's experience. They said, divorce lawyer here. Spouse had been out of the house for weeks. She waited until he was on a business trip, came into the house, turned on all the faucets. I think you know where this is going.
Oh, no.
Plugged all the drains.
Oh, dear.
Turned off the furnace, and left. Now, before I read the rest of it,
Oh, dear.
I thought it was to flood the house. Is that what you were thinking? Like, just flooding the house?
Opening the oven is starting to give me some more serious concerns than just flooding the house.
So, the part that really took a turn for me, it was -10 degrees. So, flooded the house, which was bad enough. And then, I guess it all froze up. So, he came back 5 days later.
It was up.
The entire house was ruined. The water froze everything and also cracked the foundation.
Oh, my goodness.
So, that's one way when you lose the house in the divorce to get even.
Yeah, that is something.
Have you ever experienced something in your time in family law quite that dramatic?
I have seen children destroy houses many times.
Were they mad at the parent?
Yes. So I saw it several times. The worst time, there was a temporary order at a temporary hearing, and the judge gave visitation to the father. The father hadn't been receiving visitation at all. The child was very angry about it, went over to the dad's house, and absolutely destroyed it. I'm talking destroyed the countertops, broke the countertops, destroyed the walls, wrote all over the wall, like every wall. I mean, in Sharpie, every surface. Horrible things about the father were written all over the walls. It was terrible. It was to me, the house was destroyed.
Yeah. Okay, so my question, though, do we know where Dad was when this was happening? Was he just watching it and couldn't control the child? Was the child left alone? Because then, I don't know, not to say anyone deserves that, but
this was not a young child. This was a child that was old enough to be left without the father for a small period of time, and I'm only assuming that the child was, by themselves when this occurred. But the police were called, and yeah, it was very terrible. So it was a minor child, but not a child. So.
That's crazy. The closest that I've heard to something like this was something that someone almost did and they didn't end up doing, where their ex did not like fish, like didn't like eating it, but also no one likes to smell fish either. So the idea was there was a bunch of frozen fish in the freezer, and this person had moved out, and they were like, what if I take all the frozen fish out, take it out of the airtight containers, drop them in the back of all of the toilets, basically let them defrost and rot.
Gross.
And start smelling over time.
That's so gross.
I don't even think
like that. I can't even think like that.
Now, and the thing, I start thinking about it logistically, though. Is that going to mess up the toilet? Like, obviously, it's just going to sit there. Like, the back of the toilet, it gets drained out, but it's not, like, draining...
I don't know.
...solids. And over time, it starts... So the idea was it starts smelling, and then the person's looking for it, and they can't find it, and they're like, why does my house smell so bad? This was obviously... And I'm wondering, in this case, we don't have the insight from the lawyer, were they cheated on? Because it's usually the ones that were cheated on that get real, real petty. Which brings up, I think I know the answer already, but it brings up a question I want to ask. A podcast that I enjoy called the You Up Podcast, they have a segment, and it's about breakups, not necessarily divorces, but same, but different. And they tell a story in a breakup, and they ask whether the action was petty or prudent. So... what do you think? Was it petty or prudent to turn on all the faucets, turn off the heaters, and leave the house to get flooded and frozen?
Yeah, that is very petty. I can't think of many worse, pettier things than that.
It's so bad. I wish we had what happened after. Were there any repercussions? I don't know. That's the sad part about Reddit, but dang, that's crazy. And no one has been quite that brutal in any of my cases, at least that I found out about.
Okay, let me read you mine.
Awesome.
So the topic is divorce lawyers of Reddit. What is the most insane, evil, funny, dumb way a spouse has tried to screw the other? Okay. Not my case, but during my first year of law school, lawyers from different practices came to give us a peek behind the curtain of different areas. The divorce lawyer told the story of rather well-to-do couple. This is a typo. The divorce lawyer told the story of a couple that spent months and months and many tens of thousands of dollars fighting over absolutely everything, all the way down to a single ceramic ashtray. He couldn't remember the significance, but somehow it come through the husband's family. Even after everything else had been decided, they spent many more months and nearly $100,000 fighting over just this ashtray. We've seen stuff like this. Yes. Then, after the court hearing, the wife finally won the ashtray. She promptly strode out of the courthouse steps and smashed the ashtray on the ground. Left all the pieces all over the ground for the husband to see on his way out. And he decided that day that he would not be a divorce lawyer. So, she smashed that ashtray in spite.
Okay, so here's the thing. If we're thinking petty versus prudent on this one, again, was there cheating involved?
I don't know what was involved.
Here's the thing. They both lost tons of money in this. So we're on equal playing fields. If she was cheated on, and it was worth it for her to spend that money to then win the ashtray. And if it came from the husband's family, that's interesting. That it sounds like a judge awarded it to her. Yes. If it was worth it to her to spend that money, and she made them both spend the money, and she goes and shatters it, you know, if she was cheated on, depending on how it went down, I could say that might be prudent. If that was worth it for her in the money realm. If nothing happened and it was just to be vengeful, which happens a lot, absolutely petty. Ridiculous. Absolutely petty. And such a waste of your money. I mean, absolutely. It's a waste. Even if it's prudent from her perspective of she got cheated on and she wanted, like, that meant something to him and she could get back at him. Because it's kind of harmless, in a sense. Like, she didn't ruin the house. And it's not going to cost him any more money than what they already spent on mediation. And she spent it, too. I could kind of get behind her if she had a good reason.
Yeah, this reminds me of a story that one of my paralegal teachers taught me in college. He told us this story about this couple was getting a divorce, and the husband had just installed and built this custom porch onto the house. And they fought and fought and fought about this porch. Well, one day, he just went and had it torn down and moved. He literally tore the porch off the house and moved it.
I didn't... How does one do that?
One owned the house. One owned the house in his name, and one moved the porch. So I don't know how they resolved that. He didn't really get into it, but he just wanted us to know that your clients will fight tooth and nail over a porch that is affixed to the house. I don't know what kind of devaluation that had on the house, but I'm sure that this was a nightmare. I don't know what kind of repercussions resulted from this action. I don't know if they agreed to it, but I know he ripped the porch off the house, and... So, that is probably the craziest one I've heard of.
So, I actually have one when I did research for this episode. I'm going to tell this story in another one. Yeah. And there is photo evidence to explain. And it sounds very similar to the porch, but even more aggressive.
Oh, no.
So, we're saving that for another one, but that's coming. But the ashtray one, I have a dear colleague, and this story is told in law school classes. So, there are hundreds of people running around that have heard this story, and it is crazy to me. This couple, it's actually worse than the ashtray, because the ashtray story, it sounded like it had some actual significance to the husband.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I wonder if there was cheating, because she wanted it so bad, and it clearly wasn't probably of large monetary value.
Oh, yeah, of course not.
This story is about a litter box, okay?
Oh, no.
And there's some important things before I get into this that you must know. This couple has no cats.
Oh.
Okay, so this litter box was not used as a litter box. It wasn't a significant thing to a dead cat or a living cat. It was just a plastic bin from Walmart.
Yeah.
I think it was like, it got looked up later, like $5.99 or like $7.99 from Walmart. And the couple used it in their laundry room to put like cleaning supplies in. Okay, so during mediation, which for non-lawyers so that you know, you are paying your lawyer's hourly fee and the mediator's hourly fee to be there. So you are paying 2 attorneys for that time. Okay? So, like, let's be quick with it. Let's be efficient if you want to save some money. So everything is ironed out in this except the litter box. They can't agree on the litter box. And they go back and forth for another 2 hours just over the litter box. At one point, both attorneys and the mediator step in the hallway, and it is actually proposed, should we just run to Walmart and go buy another litter box? Like, what is going on? Finally, my colleague pulled his client to the side and was like, do you understand that you have spent thousands of dollars now talking about this litter box? Let it go. We've got a good deal. Let's go. Ask for something else. Ask him for something else and give him the litter box so that he thinks he won. And that's exactly what they did. They finally settled it. But at least the ashtray had significance. Like, that's one of the I've asked so many follow-up questions.
Like,
what is the
purpose with their litter box? Like, what?
People lose their mind in a divorce.
Yeah, I mean, that is something.
That one is nothing but petty. I can't see a single scenario that I can even relate to this. None of that made any sense.
And they were both playing into it, is the thing. At any point, one of them could have come to their senses and said, okay, I'm going to stop with this. But no, they had to continue.
So I've got another one for you. So last one on this episode. I'm going to paraphrase this a little bit just for language purposes and because it doesn't make a ton of sense if I don't. Okay, so this was written I was an assistant for a family law practice, not a lawyer. And it was already a disaster of a divorce because the ex-husband was a jerk. But it got so much worse when the wife started dating someone new with a severe cat allergy like a year after they split up. Now, before I read the rest of it, where's your mind? What do you think is happening? Like, this is set up very nicely.
I have no idea. What do you think is going on? Have you read the whole thing?
I've read the whole thing, and it did not go the direction that I thought it would.
Okay, keep going.
Obviously, he's going to use this cat allergy, but not in the way you would have thought.
Oh, no.
It's worse. Her psycho ex bought
typos.
Yes. Okay. So let's just say husband, buys an ex on his time with the kids. Except, turns out he's not allowed to have pets at his apartment. So he sends the kids back to mom's house with the cat and all the cat stuff.
Oh, God.
Mom's pissed because she didn't want a cat in the first place. And her boyfriend is crazy allergic. Like, go to the hospital allergic, being in the same room. She calls the attorney's office, says what to do. Because the kids are bawling, saying they can't get rid of their new sibling.
Oh.
And she has a cat, so she has the cat in the garage. And here's what he did. Ex-husband says to the kids, if mommy loves you, she'll let you keep the cat, since daddy isn't allowed to have cats at his house. Diabolical. One of the comments on this Reddit thread said, that's how to lose custody 101.
Yeah.
And I agree. That's diabolical. And people do stuff like this and forget that they're, like, you're traumatizing your kids. You're putting them in the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I first started reading it, I was like, oh, he's going to, like, put cat hair in something.
I know. I was like, I don't know. No. What is he going to... Yeah, but that's
the kids
worse
in.
Than I
know.
It's always the worst when the children are being used as a pawn in the game of the parents, and yeah, judges hate that.
Yeah, I have a client in the past where he calls and he goes, I found a piece of paper in my son's stuff, and I'm like, elaborate, please, and. Mom had the son write sentences, like you used to do for punishment, I guess, back in the day, that said, I love mom, I hate dad.
Oh, no.
Over and over and over.
Oh, dear.
And you're like...
Don't people think what this is doing to your child's mental health and how you're setting them up for their futures?
It drives me crazy. I mean, hate your ex all you want. Keep it out of the kids' lives. Keep it out of their relationship. The only exception is, like, if one of the parents was actively abusing the kids, whatever. Keep them away. I mean, I still wouldn't have them write those sentences. They're already dealing with the abuse. They don't need that, too. But just let your kids have a relationship with the other parent. They'll figure out if they suck. Sucky parents always reveal themselves. Yeah. So you, as the good parent, don't need to turn into a sucky parent trying to expose the other parent. So yeah, petty or prudent on the cat. Okay, let's do scenarios. Let's just say we're taking out the last part where he tells the kids, like, if mommy loves you, you know, she'll let you keep the cat. Dad gets a cat, sends over with the kids. How bad do we feel about that one?
You know, I think there could be an argument that you're innocently ignorant there. Like, you just didn't know that the boyfriend was allergic to the cat. You didn't think about it. And so
You didn't know he was living there.
Right. This wasn't something done with malicious intent. This was just, bad coincidence.
You were thinking like his lawyer, and I love it.
Bad coincidence.
Yeah, but, oops, he wasn't aware.
We can sell that, but what we can't sell is the statement made to the kids. But the thing is are we going to be able to get that in with the children?
Yeah.
Being the ones to make those statements.
Theoretically, what would be good is if one of the kids was old enough to have a cell phone and he texted that.
Yeah.
Get it in writing from the party, and we're getting that into evidence every single time. But yeah, if he said it to the kids, that's a hard one. Mom and lawyer would have a hard time getting that in, but if you get that in...
You get it in front of a judge, though, and like at a temporary hearing or something, I still think a judge would be convinced by mother saying it, potentially, but still, you take it to trial, and I don't know. It doesn't look good, and I wouldn't want it.
Good. Gosh, there are some petty people out there, and we see them a lot. It's always better when it's on the other side of my cases, because again, sometimes it's your client that does it, and you have to make the excuses.
Yes.
The ignorance. We claim denial and ignorance quite a lot, but it's also annoying to be on the side that petty things are done to, because then your client's like, what do we do? What do we do? I'm like, I don't know. They already took the porch off the house. What is there to do?
What is there to do? And the other thing is like, they don't typically tell us the things like, oh, I told my kids this, and they don't tell us that they have this whole scheme going. We find out from opposing counsel 10 months down the road. Like, it's never just... we don't receive the full story. We just receive the story about how I didn't know he was allergic, but then later we've received...
And then we see the text messages.
We receive the text message in writing that says that this is what I did. This is the scheme I cooked up.
Often during testimony in live court, you find out the thing that they've been saying and you've been denying and your client's been denying was true the whole time.
In court.
And then you look over and you're like, remember when I told you to tell me everything so I could protect you? This is what I meant.
Right.
This is what I meant. So I think... to wrap up our petty and prudent conversation, prudent, tell your lawyer everything, because we can't help you if we're blindsided in court, we are just as off kilter as you are.
Yes.
Tell your lawyer, and maybe the more prudent thing is don't do terrible things to your ex.
Yep.
I mean...
don't use your children as pawns in your game.
It seems so simple.
Yeah.
And yet people get it so wrong. But hope this was a fun episode exploring some Reddit reviews. We're going to be doing this pretty frequently because there's so much interesting stuff out there to dive into. Before we wrap up, if you notice my lovely little diamond hat, we do have some Prenup Girl merch. So we've got cute little pink hat with our white diamond on it, and we are giving that away. So if you're on YouTube, you can see it. But we are giving that away to a lucky listener. All you have to do is follow us on Instagram at Gavel Gab, and you need to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also leave a comment on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and we will check those, and then we will raffle off the gift to winner, and we will reach out to let you know you won and get in contact with you. But other than that, this was fun. Until next time,
bye.
Toodaloo.